started. Let's get it started.
Guys, as always, back at it again for another video. And what we're going to be doing is talking about the latest episode of Tangled, the series known as Rapunzel's Enemy. And this episode, especially the ending, kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. But anyway, this episode starts off, we're in the kingdom right over here. All the people are out there. The king is making an announcement. You know, it's time to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the gopher grab, which is a tradition that they do in Corona. But what makes it special this year is, of course, that Rapunzel's here. And one thing that Rapunzel did is that she changed the seal, and everyone's applauding her. But then there's that one person that's like, boo! Rapunzel, you know, not knowing too much about the world because she's been in a tower for 18 years is like a boo to you too, sir. Which is funny because I would think the king, being who he is, would like probably arrest that dude for booing her. But nonetheless, Rapunzel and Eugene end up walking. Everybody loves her, and Rapunzel's saying like, yeah, they really know how to make a girl feel welcome and all that stuff. Somebody even booed me. I never even heard that before. Is that some kind of exotic language or something like that? But Eugene is like, no, Blondie, no. Boo is a bad thing. And then they go and talk to Cassandra, and Cassandra basically just flat out says, yeah, it means somebody hates you. And Eugene is over there just like, wow, well, way to go easy on her or whatever. But we notice Cassandra has something in her hand, and that, of course, is the gopher. I honestly don't remember what his name was, but whatever, she's got the gopher in his hand. Apparently, this gopher comes from a long line of gophers, you know, because that's the gopher that they use for the whole gopher grab ceremony, whatever like that. But Eugene is right over there trying to basically convince Rapunzel, like, listen, it shouldn't really matter if someone doesn't like you. Not everyone's gonna like you. That's just how the world works. And Cassandra agrees with him, and Rapunzel's still kind of uneasy about it. She's like, why would somebody boo me? What have I ever done wrong to them? And honestly, I can kind of feel Rapunzel and how she feels like this. It's like when I make a YouTube video and there's always that one person that has to dislike it for no reason. Like, why? Seriously? My videos are perfectly good. Why would you dislike it? But nonetheless, I digress. So anyway, you know, Rapunzel's still kind of iffy about it. So basically, she tries to clear her mind. She's gonna try to forget the whole boo thing. But you just see these crowded people walking around. They end up saying like, boo, 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 this and that and that. So she can't escape it. But then she hears a voice, and it's this old man who is acting actually pretty nice and sincere and all this stuff. But the voice is very similar to Rapunzel. Of course, it is the voice that booed her, and you know, she kind of goes up to confront him, and he's literally just up in her face, boo! I'm like, damn, dude, what did she do to you? Although, to be honest, I knew exactly what the problem was. I knew what his issue was as soon as the episode started. But then from there, we have Rapunzel go to her room. She draws a painting of the dude to see if anybody would recognize her. We see Eugene come in there. It's like, hey, it's Uncle Monty right over there. And apparently, Uncle Monty is the person that booed Rapunzel. And Uncle Monty is like the nicest guy with all of Corona. Everybody knows him. They're like, hey, what's good? Uncle Monty, what's up? Everybody knows him. But then Eugene realizes that, oh, this is the person that booed Rapunzel. He's like, yeah, you know, forget everything I just said, Monty. Yeah, this doesn't look like Monty. This must be the booer. It's a terrible dude. A guard comes in, kind of ruins it, and is like, nope, that's Monty right over there. He brought flowers to my sick wife and everything like that. And the guard ends up telling Rapunzel where he works and all that stuff, where she can locate him, so she can go ahead and talk to him and see what is his problem. But then we move back to Eugene and Cassandra. They're talking like, man, I really wish Rapunzel can just get over this. You know, not everyone's gonna like you and all this stuff. But Cassandra ends up tasking Eugene to watch over the gopher while she gets ready or whatever. And Eugene's like, are you sure you can leave me in charge with this gopher, whatever like that? And we see Eugene start grabbing some of the gopher snacks, and he starts eating them, which will come to play later. So we move back to Rapunzel, and we see that old Uncle Marty right over here owns a sweet shop. It's like Candyland inside that place, right? So she goes in there, and we see Uncle Monty's being nice to basically everybody else, but then Rapunzel tries to talk to him, and oh man, no, Uncle Monty is just giving her the hand. Listen, I don't need to explain myself to you. That lollipop I just gave you, that fell on the floor. But one thing that we note about Uncle Monty is that, like, in his store, we see all these like trophies or whatever from, I guess, winners of the gopher grab contest that they have. And then ultimately Rapunzel ends up leaving, so she goes back to her room and tries to come up with a plan to maybe somewhat win Uncle Monty over. She starts creating all these things. She makes him a scarf. She tries painting on his sign, but ultimately everything she does just ends up failing. Nothing seems to be working out for Rapunzel. So then Rapunzel decides, well, if Uncle Monty won't talk to me, maybe she'll talk to somebody else. So Rapunzel puts on this disguise and decides to, and goes by the name of Misty. She gets in there, she's disguised as Misty. Uncle Monty does not suspect a thing. But then we go back to Cassandra and Eugene, and Cassandra's like, Eugene, what happened to all the, oh my god, please, I'm saying, the bin berries. I believe it's the bin berries. The bin berries, of course, with the snacks for the gopher, and apparently it's kind of a big deal because if the gopher doesn't have his bin berries, then he won't have the energy to run, and then the gopher grab's gonna go to crap and everything like that. So Cassandra's basically like, get me some bin berries right now. So then Eugene sets off to go get some binberries or whatever, and then we go back to Rapunzel and Marty right over there. You know, they're chatting it up, being all friendly, and we find out a little bit about Monty's history right over here, where all those like trophies or whatever were all from his family, and he's the only one who has not won the gopher grab contest. So he says, like, you know, sometimes I just feel kind of ashamed of myself. And then Uncle Monty's like, you know, that's enough about the sad stuff. Why don't we go out and have some fun? So what Uncle Monty does for fun is he starts throwing tomatoes at Rapunzel's statue or whatever, and Misty's just like, wow, you must really not like her. How about you go ahead and tell me why? But before that, you know, the gopher grab starts, so he doesn't get a chance to explain. And then Misty's like, you know what? Why don't we enter the contest together? You know, you should really go for it. Tries to encourage Monty to kind of fulfill his dream or whatever. So they end up going and competing together as a team. So while Rapunzel and Uncle Marty were, you know, heading to the gopher grab, of course, we see Eugene come in. He's brought more of the berries to give to the gopher. Then Cassandra starts giving the gopher the berries. And again, something is not quite right. You see those eyes twitching and everything. Oh boy, this cannot be good. But ultimately, they start the gopher grab contest right over there. You know, they let the gopher out, and boom, he comes out. He's looking like a complete maniac. The gopher has gone mad, and you know, Eugene's kind of enjoying the show. Like, Cassandra, why didn't you tell me this gopher grab thing was gonna be so funny? And you know, Cassandra's trying to figure out why is he acting like this. And of course, we find out that Eugene ended up bringing dim berries, not binberries, and apparently dimberries cause hyperactivity within rodents and stuff like that, you know, plot. So the gopher goes crazy, everybody's trying to grab him, the gopher just ends up escaping, runs into the woods, and Monty's like, okay, Misty, let's go out and show these kids how it's done. So, you know, they go after the gopher, and now we see the gopher's like in this middle of the lake within the rocks or whatever, and then Rapunzel has this good idea, pretty good idea, why don't we wait by the bridge in case the rodent falls down so we can go ahead and catch him. Pretty good idea. But then Monty's like, nah, it's like you said before, Misty, sometimes you just gotta say the heck with it, and decides to jump on the rocks to try to grab the gopher. Ultimately fails, is fall down, and apparently we run into that whole cliche where the dude can't swim or whatever. And I like the part where Monty was like, oh, don't worry about me, get the gopher. No, I was just trying to sound brave, don't forget about me. So ultimately Monty ends up going down the stream where there's a huge waterfall or whatever, and of course Rapunzel runs to the bridge, tries to grab his hand. They manage to do that, but ultimately he slips, and of course, as to be expected, the only way to save Monty is by taking off her wig, using her hair as like a rope or whatever. She manages to save Monty, and hey, happy endings. Nope, psych, that's not where this is going. Monty gets up and sits down and is like, so you put on this whole charade just to figure out why I booed you. And Rapunzel's like, so please tell me why'd you boo me? And Monty's like, okay, fine, I'll tell you. It's because of this. And you see that he has the seal in his hand, and Rapunzel's like, I don't really get it. It's the gopher seal. What about it? And then Monty goes to explain, you ruined a perfectly good seal. He's basically pissed because Rapunzel changed the sign. She changed the design of the gopher seal that they've had for like years and years and years. And I knew that was the issue. I knew that was the issue. As soon as the episode started and we found out that Rapunzel changed the seal, I knew that was the reason. I knew it. I mean, it was pretty predictable. I called it the second I saw it. But yeah, boom, that's basically it. But that's not all. It turns out because of Rapunzel being a new princess or whatever, some things have changed. And Monty just isn't really crazy about all this change. But Monty does acknowledge Rapunzel because, you know, because of course if it wasn't for Rapunzel, Monty never would have fulfilled his dream in capturing the gopher. And we see that the gopher is inside his pocket. So like, okay, things might turn out oh well. But then Monty's like, but then you put in the charade and you made me look like a fool. So ultimately, I still don't like you. Not everybody in the kingdom has to like you, and I just don't like you. And then Rapunzel's like, well, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I like you either. So basically, they both agreed to disagree. They both agree that they do not like each other, whatever, something like that. So like, what? But then ultimately, you know, we end up going back to the castle, whatever, and the king announces the winner for the gopher grab, that of course being Monty, and Rapunzel being hilarious just ends up booing him, boo, and then Rapunzel's like, what? Not everybody has to like each other. And then we see Monty go into the shop or whatever, he puts a little trophy there, and we see a little smile on his face. So I think Monty low-key does like Rapunzel a lot more than he's given credit for. But that there was basically the episode. So like I said, it was pretty predictable on why he was upset with her. I can kind of understand Monty's feelings. I'm not really too crazy about change either, especially when the change is dumb and unnecessary or whatever, but if it's something minimal, but you gotta remember, Monty's an old dude, you know, he goes by tradition, his family, and all that stuff, so seeing something like that change, yeah, it could upset some people, but the dude definitely needs to learn to let things go or whatever. Like, the way it ended is a completely different scenario in my mind. The way I thought it was gonna end was like, I thought Rapunzel was gonna be like, you know what, Monty, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have just made all these changes, it's just that, you know, I'm new here, I've been trapped in tower for 18 years or whatever, there's still so much I need to learn, maybe you can help me out with all the history history and stuff like that. We can change back the sign, or maybe we can make our own new sign together, something like that. Be friends, happy-go-lucky. But Disney's just like, nah, bro, nah. The lesson here, my friends, is that, of course, not everybody has to like you. There's always that one D-bag out there that's just all scummy or whatever. No matter what you do, you just can't appeal to them. So definitely a different take from what we've normally seen. I kind of like that lesson right over there. Not everyone's gonna like you. You just gotta get over it. So I guess when somebody dislikes my video, I'll have to get over it. Nah, I'm not gonna get over that. That's still gonna bother me. But anyway, guys, that's basically the episode. So what I would like to know in the comment section below is, what did you think of the episode? What did you think of Marty's reason? Do you think it was a good reason? Do you think it was a bad reason? Leave all your comments in the comment section below. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, as that really helps me out. And until next time, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say bye, pal. I'll see ya real soon.